We have a loaded matchup as the San Francisco 49ers are taking on the New York Jets and San Francisco. This is your Week 1 2024 prediction and preview video. Hit subscribe if you're new. Also hit the like button. It is so many different narratives in this game. You have Coach Saleh, who's the former defensive coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers many years ago, going against his former head coach and Kyle Shanahan. Now let's talk about the San Francisco 49ers first because they are the home team. They're coming off a tough Super Bowl loss against the Kansas City Chiefs. And they're not exactly the same San Francisco 49ers team. You have a brand new defensive coordinator. I'll talk about that when I get more into the defense. But when you look at this offense of the 49ers, they had one of the best offenses in the NFL last season. Brock Purdy proved that he is one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL, but can he consistently do it? We saw what he was able to do last season. The thing is this with the San Francisco 49ers. You just paid Brandon Aiyuk a lot of money. You just paid Trent Williams a lot of money. You had to do that because those are two of the most important players on your entire roster. When you look at this New York Jets team, they have a good front seven and a very good defense as a whole. You want to keep Brock Purdy protected. When you go back and you look at that Super Bowl against the Kansas City Chiefs, Brock Purdy did not play terrible in that game. He played very good. The offensive line was up and down. We go back a couple of months ago. Before that, they went against the Baltimore Ravens, Christmas Day game. The offensive line let Brock Purdy down yet again. We know that Trent Williams is one of the best tackles in the NFL. Some will even say that he is the best tackle in the NFL. And I wouldn't argue with you. But the rest of the offensive line, they have to step up in this game. You do not want guys like Quinn Williams to go out there with Hassan Reddick, if he's going to play in this game, to go out there and tee off on Brock Purdy over and over again. Because no matter who you are, no matter if you're Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, if you don't have enough time in the pocket, you're not going to win many football games. And when we go back a year ago, when he went to an NFC Championship game against the Philadelphia Eagles, the tight end did miss the block, but pressure, it hurt him. He tore the UCL in his elbow. Keep Brock Purdy protected. That's the first point of emphasis for the San Francisco 49ers. And other guys have to step up besides Trent Williams. You know that you're going to run the football with Christian McCaffrey and run the offense through him. You have Deebo Samuel as well and Brandon Aiyuk. Brandon Aiyuk did a lot of complaining this offseason about wanting to get paid more. He even came out and said that he did make contract negotiations harder than need to be. You have to go out there and prove that you're still one of the best receivers in the game. I know that they have Ahmad Sauce Gardner, but he has to go out there and make a dominant statement. You don't just go out there and pay a guy like Brandon Aiyuk and deal with the headache that he was this offseason. And he was a major headache. They had a trade in place with the Steelers. He didn't want to go there. They had a trade in place with the Patriots. He didn't want to go there. He wanted to stay with the San Francisco 49ers. And I'm happy that he got his money. But for all the hell he put the front office through, he has to have another great season. And he has to have a great game against the New York Jets as well, against a top defense. But it's just going to come down to offensive line protection and getting these guys the football. You have George Kittle. You have Deebo Samuel. This is a loaded football team. Unfortunately for the San Francisco 49ers, right now, Christian McCaffrey is a bit banged up. But your backup running back, he's going to miss the entire season. And that's one of the things that you look at. Now you bring in Jordan Mason. Can he come in on no relief downs for when Christian McCaffrey has to come out the game? It's going to also be very interesting to see if they're going to put Deebo Samuel in the backfield. I know that he's not the biggest fan of doing that in the regular season, but at certain points of times, they will put him in the backfield in the regular season. So pay attention to that as well. But I expect for the San Francisco 49ers to go out there and set the tone early against the New York Jets. I'm one of those football nerds. I'm going to be paying attention to the adjustments that Robert Saleh is trying to make on the fly, and the same with Kyle Shanahan, because both of those guys are still close friends. When I look at the defense for the San Francisco 49ers, you fire Steve Wilks after the Super Bowl. Steve Wilks should have never been the defensive coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers. They usually promote within. They went outside the box this time. They went and got a coach with an outside philosophy, and it bit them in the end. It's not saying that their defense was terrible last season, because it wasn't. But their defense was very inconsistent. And they made a trade to go out there and get Chase Young. And their defense for the first 3 games, it turned back up. But their defense was not the same like how it was with DeMeco Ryans and how it was with Robert Saleh. You now look at your brand new defensive coordinator. Can he go out there and put the San Francisco 49ers back over the edge? Nick Sorensen is going to be the first time calling plays in the NFL on the defensive side. And that does bother me a little bit, because usually when guys go in there and it's their first game calling plays, they can usually get out coached by the opposing team. But they have a lot of great defensive players that can help them out. Leonard Floyd. He's the same defensive end that tore the Achilles of Aaron Rodgers last year in that Monday Night Football game against the Buffalo Bills. He's motivated to play in this game. The reason why he's motivated, he came out on a podcast and he said that he received numerous death threats because he tore the Achilles of Aaron Rodgers. It was an accident. He didn't mean to. But he's going to use that as motivation to try to go back there and sack Aaron Rodgers as much as possible. He isn't even the best pass rusher on the team. It's Nick Bosa. He has to step up. He has to be consistent. You want to go out there and pressure Aaron Rodgers. I'm not trying to say that the New York Jets' new offensive line is no good because on paper it looks better. But the San Francisco 49ers front seven should still dominate. You have great players across the board. You have Leonard Floyd. You have Nick Bosa, who's one of the best defensive ends in the NFL. You have Javon Hargrave, who is a very good defensive tackle. He can push the pocket. He can sack the quarterback. He can stop the run. He's one of those do-it-all defensive tackles. And you paid him a lot of money a year ago to get him from the Philadelphia Eagles. I expect for him to have a huge game against the New York Jets as well. The key to victory on the defensive side of the ball is to try to go out there and press up on the wide receivers. They have a great wide receiver in Garrett Wilson. Besides that, yes, they have Mike Williams, but he's not known to go out there and get open consistently. He's a big body type of wide receiver. Try to make other weapons on the offensive end defeat you. And do not let Breece Hall go out there and get a 50 to 60 yard run off the rip. That's what he was able to do last season against the Buffalo Bills. And that basically helped push the Jets over the edge besides that punt return that they got in overtime. So you just have to be careful with that. Play sound, disciplined football. They weren't disciplined last season on the defensive side of things. And Steve Wilks is more so of a secondary coach. You look at this coach right here, he's going to go out there and coach through the front seven. And that's what the San Francisco 49ers want. They have Fred Warner, who is one of the best middle linebackers in the NFL. You have Devondre Campbell as well. They needed him. Devondre Campbell has dealt with injuries over the last couple of years, but part of the reason why that's an underrated signing for the San Francisco 49ers, and it's a huge signing as well, Dre Greenlaw is going to miss time. He tore his Achilles in the Super Bowl. Freak accident. He was sprinting on the field and tears his Achilles. And that played a huge part into why the whole defensive morale was down as well. Because you go back and look at the sideline, all those guys were just dejected when he went down. They still try to step up and they still try to go out there and do their best against the Kansas City Chiefs, but it wasn't the same. Devondre Campbell has the ability to go out there and make moves in space. He could cover the tight end. He's still a very good veteran linebacker to have around besides Fred Warner. You have Charvarius Ward, who was a Pro Bowler last season and is an all-pro corner. He is phenomenal at his position. Match him up on a guy like Garrett Wilson to try to single him out of the game. You also have Hufanga as well. He tore his ACL last season. He's questionable to play in this game, but he's on pace to play in this game. The thing is with him, he was one of the best safeties in the NFL before he tore his ACL. Hopefully he can return back to shape. And you have Jair Brown as well, who was a very good safety last season, and he is still young. He's still developing on the fly. You have Renardo Green, who was a draft pick in this year's draft class. Expect for him to go out there and make a lot of splash plays. So overall, the San Francisco 49ers are in a very good situation. I like the pieces that they have. Also, be on lookout for Kyle Juszczyk in this game. He's a fullback that can catch the football at the field. He's going to be the guy that's maybe going to be the main lead blocker for Christian McCaffrey on a couple of plays. Just be on lookout for him because they can bluff a pass to Christian McCaffrey, and next thing you know, Kyle Juszczyk is one-on-one with a linebacker. And don't let the fact that he's a fullback just fool you. He can go out there, he can make some crazy catches, and he can do some crazy things for you. So the San Francisco 49ers have a great shot at winning this football game. But let's talk about the New York Jets. Last season, man, this team was cursed. Part of the reason I say that, Aaron Rodgers comes out with the American flag. They go against the Buffalo Bills, and we're like, okay, here we go. For the first time in a very long time, the Jets, maybe they have a franchise quarterback for the next 2 to 3 years, and they have that great defense. And within just a couple of plays, Aaron Rodgers tears his Achilles off a screenplay. He should have got rid of the football, but at the same time, that shouldn't have happened. The offensive line was abysmal. Zach Wilson was a bust, yes. But this offensive line, no matter who was behind it, it wasn't going to work out. They went into the offseason. They went in, they bring in Tyron Smith, a very good veteran tackle from the Dallas Cowboys. When he's fully healthy, he's still a very good tackle to have around. You also went into the first round, and they drafted Olu Fashanu in the first round. The thing is this, if Tyron Smith does go down, You could plug him in at left tackle. He should be very good. You have Morgan Moses coming over from the Baltimore Ravens, a very good right tackle as well. Elijah Vera Tucker has missed out on his first 2 seasons, hasn't been able to finish out the first 2 seasons due to injuries, but he's been a very good versatile piece on the offensive line. It's going to come down to this. Can they protect Aaron Rodgers for more than 4 seconds? That's it. I don't have the biggest faith in Nathaniel Hackett as a play caller without Aaron Rodgers, but when he's been matched up with Aaron Rodgers, we've seen the offense click, and Aaron Rodgers has won MVP awards underneath Nathaniel Hackett. You want to go out there and set the tone. Get rid of the football quickly against this front 7 of the San Francisco 49ers. This is still a tough football team. I don't care what people say about Brock Purdy's a system quarterback, this and that. That is a loaded football team, and you don't want to play around with them. The New York Jets have to go out there, and they have to score some points early on, whether it's taking field goals or going for it when you have to. Because the reason why I say that, even though the Jets defense is great as it is over the last couple of seasons, and they did a hit job on the Philadelphia Eagles, they gave them their first loss last season, and really Robert Saleh set out the blueprint on how to go out there and defeat the Philadelphia Eagles by blitzing Jalen Hurts and playing press man coverage. They did a hit job on Russell Wilson as well, and they did a great job against CJ and the Houston Texans. The San Francisco 49ers have too many weapons. Most of those teams did not have as stacked of a roster as the 49ers have. So their offense is going to have to go out there and take advantage of short fields and try to get some things going to the special teams as well. And I'm not saying that Aaron Rodgers won't be the same player. I'm concerned because he did miss pretty much all of last season. He only played a couple of snaps. That's a year gone, and he was still recovering from that Achilles injury. I'm not saying that he won't go out there and he won't look like Aaron Rodgers of old, but we don't know that for sure. Get this offense going through Breece Hall, who should be great this upcoming season. He's been a very good running back in the past. The problem is this. He's played with horrible quarterbacks. Zach Wilson was so terrible, they just stacked the box. You hope that's not the case now, that Breece Hall can just go out there and find some easy creases and he can just go. He did tear his ACL this rookie season, but he bounced back in a great way. I think that he is going to be the essential piece in this game that may push the New York Jets over the top if they want to have an actual shot of going out there and contending and beating the San Francisco 49ers on week 1. You also look at the wide receiving position. Garrett Wilson is a true number 1. I can't say enough good things about this kid. One of the better young wide receivers in the NFL. We'll be talking about him being a top 5 to top 10 wide receiver if he had consistent quarterback play. He's been able to put up video game numbers with terrible quarterbacks. Having over 1,000 yards of Zach Wilson throwing through the football, that's pretty much 1,400 yards. Let's just be real. And he's been in double coverage as well. You bring in Mike Williams from the Los Angeles Chargers. They cut him, not because he's a bad football player. He hasn't been able to stay healthy, and he's not the most explosive player on the field. I don't expect for him to go out there and to do much for this upcoming season, but it's going to be a consistent red zone threat. And he's going to be great on short yardage situations. He should be very good when it's 3rd and 3 and 3rd and 4 and they want to run a play action bootleg play. He should be able to go out there and break off short yardage separation. And he has a big wingspan as well. Xavier Gipson, more so of a special teams player, but you could flip the football to him in the backfield, do some end around plays with him because of the speed that he has. Expect for the Jets to possibly do that to try to beat the San Francisco 49ers from sideline to sideline. You also have Allen Lazard. Last season was just terrible. They brought this kid in. They were going to go out there and sign him regardless if they made the trade to get Aaron Rodgers or not. Understandably, it was a terrible offense. He could not even find a spot on the field at times because he couldn't catch the football and he just did not run the right routes. You can't have this. And they paid him a lot of money. He has to step up. Forget just this game. He has to step up for the entire season. He's not a true number 1. He's not a true number 2. He's a very good number 3 wide receiver, and that's the role that he should be playing into. I am concerned about this because they drafted Malachi Corley, who is similar to Deebo Samuel. It's been reports that they want to use him to how Deebo Samuel has been used with Kyle Shanahan, put him in the backfield, put him inside the slot. He can play outside wide receiver. He may even be on punt and kick returns here and there. Just pay attention to that. He's a very versatile player, and I expect for him to have a breakout season in his rookie season. But overall, the Jets, they look good. My concerns, how will Aaron Rodgers look coming off that torn Achilles, and how will his offensive line hold up against still one of the better front sevens in the NFL against the San Francisco 49ers. Now let's talk about the defense. This is where things get fun for the New York Jets. This has been the strong suit Since Robert Saleh got here, you have guys like Jermaine Johnson, who is a very good pass rusher. He's going to go back there, stop the run. Expect for him to be very aggressive with the offensive line of the San Francisco 49ers. And this is where the game is going to be won for both teams. Whoever can win the trenches, that's who's going to win this football game. I know the San Francisco 49ers, they have a lot of good players at the skill position. If they can't block guys like Jermaine Johnson, Javon Kinlaw, and Quinn Williams, they're not going to win this football game. Now, Javon Kinlaw is a very good player. He had his best season last season with the San Francisco 49ers. But who played a huge part in drafting him? Coach Saleh did. He's going to get the most out of him. He's playing alongside Quinn Williams. You also have Michael Clemens as well, who is a very good defensive end for the New York Jets. I spoke of Hassan Reddick before. The thing is this with Hassan Reddick. He wants a contract extension. Right now, they're going into the approach that he may not play in this game, which really sucks. I don't know why the Jets went out there and they made this trade without trying to give him a contract extension off rip. That makes zero sense. He's playing the smart game because essentially he's on a one-year deal with the Jets. He's coming over from the Eagles. He had 11 sacks last season. They need to see him play. Even if he does suit up in week 1, he hasn't even been around the team. I don't even expect much if he's able to play in week 1, but I'm going with the assumption that he's not going to play. Even if he's not able to play, you have Michael Clemens, you have Will McDonald as well. You have a bunch of guys that can come off the bench and can consistently get you pass rush, similar to how the Philadelphia Eagles defeated the New England Patriots many years ago in that Super Bowl when Nick Foles went out there and he upset Tom Brady. Even though their front seven is very good, you have C.J. Mosley, who is still a very good middle linebacker. You also have Quincy Williams, who is the brother of Quinnen Williams. No, he's not on this team because of nepotism. Quincy Williams is a very good linebacker, and he was a very good tackler last season, and he can make plays in space. Expect for him and C.J. Mosley to do a great job of trying to cover Christian McCaffrey out the backfield. Even though I really like their front seven, their secondary is even better, in my opinion. Maybe it's because I'm a secondary guy, and I love me some cornerbacks. Sauce Gardner, in my opinion, is the best cornerback in the NFL. It depends on who you want to match him up with. Deebo Samuel is not the best route runner. That's Brandon Ayuk. Put him on Brandon Ayuk. The 49ers struggled to get consistency at the wide receiver position against the Kansas City Chiefs. More so Deebo Samuel than anyone else. I think that DJ Reed's going to match up on him very well, and I don't expect for Deebo Samuel to do much. Now, I could look like a fool, but they're going to have to win this game through George Kittle and through Brandon Ayuk if they want to go out there and put a lot of points on the New York Jets' neck. And by the way, I don't see either one of these teams scoring a lot of points in this football game. But you have Sauce Gardner, match him up on Brandon Ayuk, have him follow around on Brandon Ayuk. You have Michael Carter as well, who just got a major contract extension. Their top 3 cornerbacks match up very good with the wide receivers of the San Francisco 49ers. With that being said, this is still going to be a close game. It's going to be a defensive-led game. I also want to speak on this. Ricky Pearsall did get shot. He is doing okay now. California is a crazy place to be in over the last couple of years. I'm happy that he is okay. Obviously, he will not be able to play in this game, but they're expected for him to play in the next couple of months. I hope that he will be okay, and I'm glad that he was able to walk out relatively healthy. With that being said, I'm going to take the San Francisco 49ers to win this game 24-17. I think that is going to be a defensive-led game. Both of these defenses are very good. Both of the coaches are very good. I just have more faith right now in Brock Purdy because he has had more consistency over the last couple of seasons, and Aaron Rodgers is coming off that torn Achilles injury. Now, if Aaron Rodgers comes out and he turns back the clock, the New York Jets could easily win this football game. This is one of those games that can go either way, but I'm taking the San Francisco 49ers, and I do think that they'll walk away with the W. They also have home field advantage as well. But let me know in the comment section below, how do you guys feel about the New York Jets versus the San Francisco 49ers, and who do you have winning this game? If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, hit the like button. Most importantly, I want each and every last one of you guys stay safe, stay positive. Thanks for watching the video, guys. God bless. Peace.